show. Always Irish show. Always Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. Hey, I'm telling you, we're 3 weeks away, and there could not possibly be more to talk about in the world of college football. I'm happy to be here with you. Welcome in, folks, to an Always Irish After Dark episode. We're no longer in the dog days of summer. We are no longer in a position to have 3 months to have to go, what's going to happen with Notre Dame? I wonder about this. Let me ask about that. What about the big picture? It's almost here, and we need it. We need it, damn it. We need answers to these questions. And the other thing is, listen, there's people all over the country talking, okay? On Twitter, on their podcast, on whatever. Talk. Somebody's going to be right. Somebody's going to be wrong on all these issues starting in a few damn weeks. Domer guy says, how you feeling, John? Under the weather. But it doesn't matter. The show's got to go on. The show's got to go on. It doesn't matter how I feel. It matters that we talk about Notre Dame football together, damn it. That's all that matters. Cousin Luke, nice shirt, John. Is that silk? I don't know what it is, but the Notre Dame bookstore got me on this one. This shirt's like it's almost $200 for a golf polo. If I'm spending that amount of money on a golf polo, it better swing the club for me. They got me on this one, Cousin Luke. I got to admit, they got me on this one. But I saw this shirt with the ND. I'm covering it up with the ND here. Oh, on this side, I'm mirrored. Here's the deal. You know how I am. I don't do anything normal. If you guys couldn't tell, I don't do anything normal. So I go in the bookstore, and where do my eyes go? The one shirt that stands out in a weird color pattern that I know nobody else will ever have, that I have to have. And it's like $178 plus tax, that, moisture wicking for your golf. It better swing the damn club for what I paid. Anyways, I digress before I have a stroke 2 minutes into the episode. All right? You got me sweating already. Now I know I don't feel good. Unbelievable. 312-900-8815. Light it up. Anything. Expansion. Notre Dame's, the green jerseys. Notre Dame's deal with Under Armour. Okay. You want to talk about them announcing the NBC booth. You want to talk about what's going to happen with Notre Dame's TV deal. And I got an angle on that today, by the way. I got an angle on that. Anything. And then, by the way, we have all of that going on. Let's not forget about actual camp going on. And I have some thoughts about that and some vibes I'm picking up and some things that I'm seeing. And we're going to need to go over what they all mean, maybe don't mean. I don't know, but I'm going to go over some of it and we're going to see what you guys think. Okay. So I already got off the track here. YouTube, hit subscribe if you haven't yet. I don't know what you're doing. There's a bunch of you that are here every day and you refuse to hit subscribe. I don't know what the deal is. Just hit the button. Give it a thumbs up. That helps Johnny as well. Notifications on. You and I both know the reason for that. It's so you'll be alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You can locate me. The call-in lines, 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen about Notre Dame, about everything else going on in the world of college football, conferences that may no longer even exist. It's a wild world out there, folks, and it's going to get a lot more wild. Ooh, man, that's a tough question. Let's hit this, Tyler. It's a $5 holler. Thank you very much. Let me just finish the intro. Fighting Irish Wire every damn day. You type that into computer box, Notre Dame football stories come out. Some of them I wrote. Yeah, I know some of you are going, oh, I'm used to John yelling. He can write. Yeah, I can write and read. Go check it out. You'll like what you see. Here's the deal with this $5 holler. Really appreciate it, Tyler. Means a lot. I really am sweating. I got problems this week, you guys. Kids sick. I'm sick. Family sick. It's just one of those weeks, all right? What do Washington State, Oregon State, Cal, and Stanford do now? I think they're screwed. That's what they do now. They're screwed. What are the options? If I read an article today, I actually got tested for COVID. We all did because we had old tests around from when COVID was a thing. But when everybody got whatever this is and we have similar symptoms to when we all got COVID, we took the test, negative. So I don't know what's going on, but whatever. We'll sweat it out of our system. I read today that Stanford maybe could try and go independent on their own just because of the Stanford academic brand. The issue is they're not going to pull any TV revenue. Like all their other sports win a lot. Like people don't realize, and I'm pretty sure Stanford wins the most national championships of any college overall in a year. But it's in all the stuff nobody really looks at. It isn't basketball or football, but they win in all this other stuff. But if you're going to try and go independent, you got to have a TV deal, and it's going to be based primarily on football and then on basketball. And and Stanford can't pull that. You can't pull that. You know what? I'm mad about this, you guys. Number one ND fan, I'm mad about this. I'm not watching White Sox games anymore because they're dead to me, because I care more about what happens than they do, than the people that own the team. Apparently, there was a fight with Tim Anderson a few minutes ago when I was setting up for this. That might be worth watching just to see a fight. But I don't watch the White Sox anymore. They're dead to me. The fans care more about the ownership. If they're good or not, you're dead to me. I'm not wasting my time on you. But I will tune in to see that fight. That's the most effort Tim Anderson's put in all year, other than with his girlfriend and his other girlfriend and then his baby mom and whatever else he's got going on. He's had a lot more going on off the field than on it this year, and I really don't appreciate it. Oh, boy. All right. Oh, we got another one here. What do we got? A $10 holler. Do you think, Nick Dean, it's good to be seen, my friend. Hope you and the wife are doing well. I hope to see you all this fall on the hallowed grounds of Notre Dame. Do you think Hartman and Estime both could be Heisman contenders? That would be awesome. The funny thing with that is, aren't those kind of competing ideas? Think about it. Kind of competing ideas in a way. Because if Hartman's going to be a Heisman contender, it means he's throwing for a bunch of everything all the time. And if Estime is a contender for the Heisman, it means we're running the ball all over all the time. Does it not? So if that happened, it would mean you're great at both. So, Nick, I love that $10 holler, baby. It'll go for the tailgate party. But I'm saying if you ended up in a position where both those guys are Heisman contenders, Notre Dame's a playoff team for sure. Because it means you're getting an elite passing game and an elite running game. So that would be unbelievable. And I just think the statistical odds on that are slim to none. And I may even argue that I think it's pretty low. Either of them are Heisman contenders, just because I think there's going to be a balance of run and pass that might make that hard, because you're not all relying on that one guy to put up all those numbers. I don't know. I want to be wrong. I'd love if one or both of them were. I would love that. All right. We got a couple calls, and I want to give that some attention. Let's go through some of the chats. and then we'll get going here. I always want to get the chats of the early people before we go live. They get buried, and I feel bad leaving those comments. Here's a good one from Mark with glasses. They are saying the CFP commissioners believe the new playoff model should be re-examined after the recent conference realignment. Obviously, right when this all started breaking again with the newest realignment models and all that, right away I said, you're going to have to redo that 12-teamer, because as a Notre Dame guy sitting on the outside of all the conference realignment, I'm in a position where I'm looking at the playoff access and I'm saying, if you are going to have these unbalanced conferences, some of them getting up near whatever, 14, 18, however many teams are in the Big Ten, I don't know, you're calling it 10, but it's almost double that. You can't have automatic bids like one of them in a conference that has 14 people in it, teams in it, and another one that has less. It's so unbalanced now. There's not even parity in the amount of teams in each of these conferences. You're going to have to re-examine that model. And you guys are smart. Mark, you're smart. This is one of my topics of the night that I'm going to lead you down, has to do with this. This is what I see as the final piece of this puzzle for Notre Dame. We're going to get into it. Mark, you're all over it early, and I appreciate it. I got a 219 and a 574. Looks like they're going to be the first two up on the Always Irish call-in line. Oh, man, I feel like the Advil colditis is kicking in. Who needs alcohol on a night like that? Oh, boy. Mikey pulls. Also, rumors are coming out Navy and ND will be wearing alternate uniforms. Wonder if this news was leaked. 3 weeks out, no official announcement. Imagine if this was actually supposed to be a surprise. I did see that. I'm interested to see what they come up with. I'll tell you what I want for this. It's the easiest thing in the world to do, and everybody would love it. I want some Ireland in this. I want something. Give me Shamrock. I want to see some different stuff. Maybe pull some Ireland into this uniform concept, since you're going to be there and we are Irish after all. I'd like to see a little bit of a taste of Ireland in these uniforms. At the same time, they can wear hefty garbage bags out there against Navy as long as they sink the ship. That's something else on my list. Every day I got somebody else emailing me or messaging me something else to worry about with Navy. And then it gets into your brain to where you don't know whether, because it's the preseason. Here's what I'm struggling with, you guys. Here's my issue presently, among all the other ones. My personality, but my immediate issue is the first game always has an awkward ramped buildup where it's built up bigger than it ever should be. If whoever you're playing week 1 was week 5, that's the way it is, because it's summer. There's unanswered questions. There's all this pent up excitement. Everybody's eager to see their team. They don't know how it's going to go. So when you got a month between camp starting and the first game, everybody overanalyzes that first game just nonstop. Now, last year when it's Ohio State, there's a lot of meat on that bone because you knew exactly what you were going up against. And the whole summer was like, how are we going to handle this? All right. And we handled it by scoring a massive amount of 10 points. Just wonderful job. Bravo. Awesome. Just great offense. Promote Reese. He's the smartest guy in the world. 10 points. I love it. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. Couldn't have asked for more all summer of you practicing, having a month to build up. You put up 10 points in the first half and not a damn one after. Awesome. Good job. Great use of the summer. Really proud of you. Navy's not Ohio State, but now I got people telling me they're going to be throwing the ball on us all over. They're going to be throwing nonstop all-out blitzes at those the 3 interior linemen nonstop. And we didn't stop it last year. How are we going to stop it now? National Notre Dame media guys are saying Navy's defensive front is a veteran group and they're returning all those guys. It's going to be a real problem. Come on, man. What's real and what isn't with Navy? That's where I'm struggling with now. Are we getting too inside our heads about this Navy thing or all these legitimate concerns? I'm really having trouble parsing out the realities here between those dynamics, okay? I'm struggling with it, and I'm just telling you the truth. C. Jones, good to see you. And then Matt Miller hit him with the C. Jones. You know what I'm going to do. Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. Oh, let's see this. Matt Miller, it's good to see you, brother. Aside from being ready to see what we are as a football team this year, I'm ready to kick the 23 season off so that we can all focus on football and not the politics of realignment. Man, it's money, 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 money. And it leaks into everything. Even the purest joy you have of watching football teams crack each other's heads on a Saturday. Money, man. Money dictates everything. And it's just, it hurts, but it's reality. And you're in a position now where geography doesn't matter. Those traditional rivalries doesn't matter. You used to have different styles of play in different parts of the country. None of that. It's all going away. And why? Money, money, money. Comes down to those TV deals and money. Let's just be real. Let's be real. Nowhere do I hear any considerations of like, what does it do to the student athletes on the West Coast? You know, for the girls volleyball team to have to fly from USC to play Rutgers all the way across the country and then come back and go to class. Like, let's not kid ourselves. This is all based on revenue and money. That's it. And it's just sad, but it's the world we live in. But I don't care what any of these talking mouthpieces say, ADs, whatever. It's all about the money. There's no consideration for the student athlete, all that stuff. Come on, man. It's all about money. And there are teams in the Pac-12. I think their schools are like permanently changed, and it's brutal because some of those schools, they're not going to move into another Power 5. They're going to have to drop down a level probably. And then that means their revenue is going to drop. There's no coming back from that. You're dead. You're permanently dead. You're relegated. It's basically relegation. I don't even understand soccer at all, but I think relegation's a thing where, like, if you're on the lower end, you're like kicked to the minor leagues or something. That's what this feels like. So, I mean, you feel for those players and institutions. That's another question, by the way. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but are there any players on any of these teams that are like all messed up now and don't have a home that Notre Dame would want for depth? Maybe not this year, but moving forward? I'm just asking. Just asking. I'm not trying to, like, you know, kick a horse before he's dead or nothing, but I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Oh, crying belly. This has got to be a troll job. I already have a headache. I don't want it to be a migraine. This has got to be a troll job. Crying belly. Watch some fall camp clips of Bama. Man, it's night and day from ND. Their quarterbacks look way better, especially Buckner. And they have a superior OC and head coach. Just reminds you of how far away we are. I'm not going to deny Nick Saban's credentials. I'll give you the Nick Saban one. But with Buckner and all that, and Buckner and the OC, you can have them. Like, you can have both of those guys. And if they do great, good for them. But you can have them. They can have them. All right. I am done hearing what a genius Tommy Rees was when none of the offenses at Notre Dame were anything close to what we needed to compete at an elite level, and none of the quarterbacks developed in an upward motion over time. Okay? Saban can say whatever he wants. What a genius the guy was. I didn't see it here. The offenses were nowhere near good enough ever. And the quarterback recruiting, development, and retention were never good enough ever. Under Kelly or Reese. So if they do good at Alabama, good for them, but it wasn't happening here and I'm over it. We're doing what we're doing now. Always Irish Senior. Good to see you, Pops. Good to see you. Cousin Luke. I heard my boy Drake Bowen, who I predicted would be a freshman All-American, is looking the part. Yeah, I've heard great things about him. You know what else? I've been telling everybody who will listen for a year and a half now, Brendan Vernon's built different, not just physically, but in his mind. I was telling everybody in every one of these shows, I've gotten to know that wonderful family and all the work that went in behind the scenes while that guy's ranking was dropping for no reason. He was at home working his ass off, building this body up, building this mindset up. Sure enough, we get into camp. I've heard nothing but great things about Brendan Vernon. The way he's reshaped his body, how violent and physical he is as a freshman. All the reporters have praised him. The teammates have praised him. It's a beautiful thing. And I love seeing it because that guy's done nothing but work his ass off. Behind the scenes, not posting it all on Instagram, showing off. He did all that hard work behind the scenes. Okay? And I want to see him be rewarded for it, even if it isn't this year because he's a true freshman, whatever. But that kid's on my radar, and it's more about his mind than his body. He does not operate like a teenager out of high school. He's at a different level mentally, and he knows the mission he's on at Notre Dame. And I love it. I love it. We got a few more calls. I'll get right to you. I promise. Hang in there. Mark with glasses. Conferences and traditions are in shambles. Meanwhile, Notre Dame over here minding their business independently and got a couple alternate uniforms dropping. Mark with glasses. You're on to something. It's on my bullet points. We'll get to that. I have something on that exact topic. Ryan says, fingers crossed we have all sober callers tonight. I can't guarantee that. That's a part of the mystique of Always Irish After Dark. You never quite know what you're going to get. And while we're promoting Always Irish After Dark, let's do this. And I'll remind you all, I think you all know it already, but I want you to know 1 minute after every game I'm not at, we're going live. I'm opening the phones. Whether we're good, bad, we're happy or sad, I'm opening up these phone lines and we're letting it rip on a Saturday. 1 minute after every game, unless I'm at the game, that's what we're doing, baby. I want to know what you think. You deserve a voice. And there is nowhere else in America that offers a call-in line for Notre Dame fans right after a game anymore. They used to do it in Chicago, and I think I pissed off Chet Kopic so much, they quit letting people call in. Because I used to call old Chet riled up and ready to go every night. Oh, man. I'm a long time Chet caller. If you're in the Chicago area, you know exactly who I'm talking about. B. Bean, what's going on? Arnie Torres. What do we got? Good evening, John and Irish faithful. It's L.A. Domer or LAD. It's great to be back in the live chat. I never left. I always view the show later. Work schedule. I'm so fired up for this season. Arnie, I just appreciate you being here, man. I really do. Means a lot to me. And I realize there's a bunch of people whose schedules change and they come and go from the morning shows. I get it, man. I get it. Oh, boy. Jonah, it's good to see you here. Good to see you. Craig, what's going on, Craig? Craig was out on the boat even in the rain today. What were you doing, Craig? Drinking? Oh, love Always Irish After Dark. Saw the Freeman intense practice energy. I needed to elevate even more. Holtz grabbed a player by the face mask and screamed at him. That's an HR HIPAA violation now. I don't think they can do that now. Can you even grab a guy's face mask anymore? And it's interesting, Craig, because that's on my list of things to cover as well. See, you guys are in my brain. Craig, I believe I saw a picture of you hitting on an old school plastic tip, regular black and mild. Straight gangster, Craig. That's my old smoke. Straight up gangster. I don't need no $40 turd-looking cigar. Give me that fancy tip and let me walk around town. I used to love those black and milds, baby. Too old for them now. Lungs can't take it. But I used to love them. Oh, Brian Van Gorder's burner. Look out for that. Who has the better golf game, you or Brian Kelly? I'm 100% confident I could beat Brian Kelly in golf, and I barely even play anymore. I'm very, very confident I could beat Brian Kelly at golf. And if I can't, it's an insult to him because I've said this before. If you're a fan of a college football team and your head coach is known for being good at golf, that is a red flag. I would not like that. I would not like that. Good at golf to me means you're shooting in the 70s. And I don't want my head coach shooting in the 70s. That tells me he's practicing too much golf. All right? I don't want my coach to be that good till he retires. All right? I don't want it. Daryl, what's going on? Jay Grizz, what's up with the biz? Daryl Conklin, welcome back. Always Irish After Dark. Love this live. I love being here live, okay? Jacob Brown, are the jerseys available? What? Probably not. Just like all of the awesome stuff Freeman wears, we can never get our hands on. Oh, God. Under Armour just shoots themselves in the foot. They put out the lamest little Twitter video announcing their relationships ongoing with Notre Dame. Like, I could make a better video in Clipchamp on my free laptop video computer program in 2 minutes than what they did. I don't think they know how to market or promote. I'm telling you, Under Armour needs to hire me, and I will come up with the coolest stuff, the coolest promotions, way to promote Notre Dame's guys, find NIL opportunities that benefit Under Armour and our players. Freeman's Coaches Corner. Each season, you have a magazine or a thing online with the new offerings, and it shows Freeman change it into some awesome gear or something in the locker room. The Coaches Corner, the Coaches Collection. There's all sorts of things you could do if you were trying, but you got to actually try. That's the issue. That's the issue. Freeman said a bad word to the team and everybody is excited. I know I was. I got people telling me all the time Freeman's too soft-spoken. Freeman's too easygoing. Does he have that gear to light up the guys? The cameras caught him at a moment. I don't think he knew there was cameras there, and he was certainly motivating them with some different language, and you get up at the podium. And I am here for it, and I love seeing it. And it's on my list of things to talk about. You guys are damn good at what you do in this chat. You're damn good at this chat. Jason H., SEC Elite is winning in the national title. Probably. I mean, you'd be dumb to probably pick against it, right? So I don't know. Elijah, what's going on? Drunk Vigo is in the house. Drunk, you're always around, and I really appreciate it. Domer guy, the whack. Yeah, I mean, those teams are going to have to land somewhere. But if it ain't a Power 5, your money just went to nothing. Your national power went to nothing. Your sports went down a level. You're dead, man. It's a huge blow. It's a huge blow. But again, it doesn't even matter. Oh, we're all these teams in this conference, and we're all in it together and all this stuff. No, you ain't. Not when it came down to it. Everybody did what they had to do for their team to be in the best position. Screw any handshake deals. Screw any of that. Everybody wanted to protect their own interests. It's brutal out here. Isn't it nice to be independent and just chill and watch it all burn? Actually, I don't like watching it all burn. It's actually a little upsetting, but I just mean it's nice that I don't have the stress of what's going to happen to us in the short term. Maltavius, what's going on? Number one ND fan, what's up? What up with you guys? Jason H, what up? He just says Cubs. Yeah, no. How about that? Nope. Billy the Kid, what's going on? Billy the Kid, Stanford's only chance at survival will be on Indy's back into the big 20-something. Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. Lee, what up? Roy boy, good to see you, man. Good to see you, Roy boy. He's a Tigers fan. These days are rough. Man, when your baseball team sucks, it's a rough summer. It's a rough summer. Angus Pounds, join the Big Ten. It's not the 1900s. Notre Dame joined the Big Ten? There's no reason to. Why? Follow me. All right, we'll get into this. This is on my list. So I'm going to do it and do it quick because the phone lines are filling up. And the more you guys talk, it saves my rusty voice. Join the Big Ten. It's not the 1900s. As we sit today, there's absolutely no reason or impetus for Notre Dame to feel obligated to join the Big Ten whatsoever. Follow me here. If you got a apparel deal that is one of the top 3 in the sport besides Texas and Ohio State with Nike, if you have a top 3 apparel payout deal, and you have reasonable access to the new playoff, which whatever format it's going to be, I'm assuming Notre Dame will have reasonably fair access to it, whatever the agreement is. And then here's the key part of this. If Notre Dame was not certain, 100% certain, they were going to get an awesome TV deal, you would be hearing about Notre Dame worrying about if they need to jump on board with the Big Ten before they fill up with an even amount of teams that don't want to go past that or whatever. This week, you would have been hearing those stories of, oh, the Notre Dame board's meeting about this, or they're going to have a conversation with the Big Ten. Every report said Notre Dame's spokespeople are saying this is not going to impact their independence at all. What happens with this latest realignment trend? Follow me here. Use your brain. Use your noggin. The only way Notre Dame could take that position is if they are 100% certain they're going to get a good TV deal. Otherwise, it would be malpractice for Notre Dame's leadership to do that and not investigate the Big Ten or whatever. They must be certain they know they're getting a good TV deal. They must be certain of it. Okay? And so then, if you got a big payout apparel deal, a TV deal that you like, and access to the playoff, there's absolutely no reason to join the Big Ten at all. There's no reason. There's no reason. And then people that hate Notre Dame are going to say those other teams shouldn't schedule Notre Dame anymore, but blackball them, the old Fielding Yost move, blackball them, whatever. Listen, you guys, I know this is hard for people who hate Notre Dame to get through their minds. Athletic directors and other schools like high TV ratings and full stadiums. That is what you are guaranteed when Notre Dame is on your schedule. Okay? That's not going to change now. Okay? Those schools still like full stadiums and big TV numbers. That's what Notre Dame brings. You want to say they haven't won a title since John could barely walk? You would be right, and I'd be depressed. But that's different than saying Notre Dame's irrelevant and that old thing. By every feasible metric, Notre Dame's relevant. It's just I wish they were relevant and winning more instead of relevant and not being elite. But, you know, that's the cross I got to bear being a Notre Dame fan. The Sunset Kid, what's going on? Oh, boy. Who else do we got? Anybody new? Dennis, what's going on, Dennis? It's all good on paper for game one. Let's go, baby. Hey, I'm with you. Daryl, what's going on? Jacob with the $10 holler. John, please put this in the McDonald's bag for Hartman. I want to make sure his beard is properly lotioned at all times. I appreciate that. What are we doing? Wasn't that Tennessee that was doing the payments in the McDonald's bag? Yeah, what do you want? Yeah, give me a McDouble and a medium fry. Oh, yeah, and $100,000 underneath it, too. I wouldn't even care if the money had the grease marks on it from the McDonald's, from the sandwich. Oh, man. I do want to see that fight with Tim Anderson. That seems interesting to me. Oh, that seems interesting to me. All right, let's go to the phones. 219, what's going on, Pete?
Great, John. How are you?
I'm doing very well, my friend. I'm doing very well.
Well,
I don't know what's going on. Something's going on with YouTube, though. My stuff's kind of stuck, I'm noticing. I don't know what's going on, but I'm good. What's up, man?
Well, first, you'd be happy to know I took down my photo of Kelly and replaced it one with you on the wall at home.
Oh, I appreciate that. I like having that billing. Thank you.
Have you gotten your wooden horse or red face paint for the when Florida State plays LSU for the opening game of the season yet?
I haven't done that yet, but I'm thinking about how I could get that accomplished, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that's only a few weeks away, so
it's only a few weeks away. Hey, somebody in the chat, write something in the chat. See if it shows up. I think something's frozen on my YouTube. I'm not getting any more chats and the numbers are all frozen. So I don't know what's going on. Somebody message me, see what's up. Go ahead, Pete.
I found a place online where you can get a green jersey for the game against, I'll say, Ohio State, not the Ohio State, just Ohio State.
Oh yeah, where did you find that at? I'm hearing there's a lot of fakes out there.
I'll have to look and send it to you, but yeah, I'll take a picture of it or forward you the link later when we're done.
Yeah, let me know, because I've seen some people say they could find some green ones, but then other people were saying that they were fake. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that.
Okay. Well, the reports I'm hearing about practice so far in fall camp.
Sounds like it's intense, man. It really does. It sounds like they are getting after it. It sounds like there's some major work going on and they're really getting after it. And I like it.
Yes. Well, I really hope this year, after what Caleb Williams did to us on his fingernails last year, we hammer it to USC this year.
It's a big deal, man. You just gotta gotta figure out how to beat those guys. Freeman can't afford to start out 0-2 against those guys. You just can't do it.
No. Well, here's a question for you, because I know you had a show recently about the most annoying fan bases. Here's one for you. Which band is more annoying, USC or Florida State?
Oh my God. I think USC's more personal. So I think I'm going to have to go with that one, just because it's a more personal thing to me with the USC relationship, that we have with them. So I got to say that one. And they never stop with that one stupid song, and I just can't handle it. So that's a little rough. So I'm going to have to say that one, just because it's so much more personal to me.
It's bad. I mean, with you and me not liking USC, I've known that it's so bad. I've known that tune basically since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So they play it after almost every daggone play.
Yeah, it's a really annoying thing. Okay, somebody's telling me, if you guys are still on here, that something did freeze on YouTube, and I'm not sure if it's weather related with the storms we have or what. And then they said they re-entered and it's now back to normal. But I'm noticing everything froze. My numbers froze. There's no more chats. So something happened. So try and reconnect, you guys. You might have to reboot and see what you could do. I don't think I can, because I'm already in here. So see what you could do. But something got messed up.
You talked about doing some kind of a, I can't remember what it is called on YouTube, but
like a like a watch party.
Yeah, for the game against when Florida State is playing LSU. Are you still thinking about doing that?
I'm still thinking about doing it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I just think it'd be great to watch that game with no stress, because, it's not Notre Dame involved. So it'd be a lot more relaxing to watch. So I think, I actually think that would be a lot of damn fun. And it's on a great night too. There's nothing else going on. It'd be the only game on. Like, I love the way that sets up. So I think that would be beautiful. I'd love that.
Which would you prefer, college game day to be at Notre Dame for USC or Ohio State?
If we're probably Ohio State, just because it's the first one, and that is going to be such a big deal. And probably both teams will be undefeated. And I just think it's a humongous opportunity for Notre Dame. And so I would like to see that myself. Also, you know, the weather's going to be good for that one, and the build up early in the year. I just think it'd be amazing. It'd be outrageous. Pete, what do you make of all this conference stuff and all the changes? You're a long time guy. You watch football a long time. Does it kind of hurt you to see some of these traditional conferences and rivalries fall?
Yeah, some, but first of all, kind of to a point you made, I love the fact that we're staying independent. And what you said, I also believe is very accurate too. I mean, that they don't care so much about the student athletes. It's all about the almighty green.
Yep. That's all it's about. And that led all the decisions, and it kills the rivalries and some of these conferences maybe. But it's the modern world we live in, man. That's the way it goes, baby.
Well, kind of like as an example, I mean, take college basketball in the dead of winter. You're going to have Rutgers playing at Oregon, a game that won't start till probably 9:30 or 10:30 actually, or our Rutgers time. And then the kids aren't going to be home until the wee hours of the morning. And are they going to have to go to class that same morning?
Yeah, well, exactly. But nobody cares about that. That's not a consideration. And so, they don't care about that. It's all about the money. And the student athlete thing's kind of a lie now at this level. And I think everybody's pretty much kidding themselves to think otherwise. All right, you guys, I'm getting a bunch of texts that people are chatting and they can see everything fine in the chat. I cannot see anything. So if you guys are commenting or donating or whatever, I am not able to see it right now. And the only way to fix that would probably be to turn off the stream and kill it and reboot it. And I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to keep going and hope that whatever happened on my end releases and I can see what I've missed. Just know I'm not avoiding you. I genuinely cannot see any of the chats. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on.
That would be awesome if, of course, for all Irish fans, if we won the national championship. But I believe you said you would have that night. You would host the show with probably you, your dad, and others part of the show, and you would just be on all night.
We would go all night. That we would go till the sun comes up. I would not stop. It would be the party of all parties, and it would never end. Like, we would literally go all night. It would be absolutely fantastic and wild and fun and amazing and all I've ever dreamed about. But I don't even want to think about it, because then I have to pull myself back to reality, and that's the hard part.
Yeah. That would be a priceless feeling if that was able to happen. It's been far too long for both of us.
Yeah, it really would be. It would be amazing. But to get there, we got to have a really good year here first. Did you hear what I was saying about Navy? Do you think I'm over worrying about Navy, or that the collective Notre Dame is starting to overthink Navy, or there are legitimate reasons for concern that we're maybe not looking at? Like, I just keep seeing more and more things to worry about Navy. Where do you fall on this? What's the reality with them?
I think, when we had two bad losses the way we did last year. First of all, you got to be ready for anybody. You can't overlook anybody. You just got to be ready to play no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we didn't play good against them the second half last year. So you got to go. You got to be ready. And I don't care what alternate jerseys they wear. Just beat the hell out of Navy and sink that ship. As long as that happens, we're good to go.
And for the most part, I'm one who, if we win the toss, would rather defer. But in a game against a team like Navy, I actually might take the ball if we win the toss.
That is always something to consider when you're playing Navy. Those possessions and how many you're going to get and how important it is to build a lead against Navy. That's a big deal against Navy, because they're generally not built to come from behind. And so that is a big deal against Navy for Notre Dame to get ahead so that they're the ones chasing and they do not have the luxury of eating up 9 minutes of the clock in one drive. That's always a part of playing Navy. Good call.
Yeah, because you could put, when you face a team like that, you could have limited possessions.
Yep, you always do. And I hate that. They shorten the game. That's a part of why it's risky to play Navy. You have a few 3 and outs, you're in uh-oh land. You can't afford it. That's why they do it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it brings back a bad memory of a game that you question the coaching of the guy you call Swamp Thing late in the game in 2016.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's just Navy's just, it's funny because, man, if you figure out how to play Navy right, then it's not hard to defend them and get ahead of them and do it right. But if it goes wrong on you against Navy, it goes very wrong. Like, that's the thing. It just seems to go way wrong. With a month to prepare, I am not open to any fullback running for 200 yards and falling for fake stuff and this and that. I'm not open to any of that. You have a month, figure out how to defend it, figure out your personnel and your packages, and get it done.
I'm happy that we're opening up with them rather than playing them like in week 6 or week 8. Because
get it over with.
You should be able to at least spend, yes, and you should be able to at least spend 2 weeks of fall camp preparing for that game and their style of offense.
Yeah. Just go ahead and get it all over with. I am all for that. What do you make of Notre Dame announcing the TV booth? They're bringing the same couple guys back. Do you mind it? Do you not mind it? Is it a big deal to you or not? What do you think about that?
I'm happy, at least thankfully, that I don't have to worry about it as much because I'm at the games, but I would rather have at least a Notre Dame analyst in the booth because, hey, you're promoting the game as it's Notre Dame football. Let it be a Notre Dame analyst in there rather than having a guy like Doug Flutie we had in the past who did not like Notre Dame at all.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Jason,
that's a really good point. Of all the people who probably didn't have pro Notre Dame feelings, that would be one of them. You know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But on the flip side, if Notre Dame's about to announce a $75 million deal with NBC, then I'll deal with the booth that I don't love. I'll look at it that way. If they're about to land some huge deal and it financially helps the football program, I'll deal with the booth that I don't love.
Yes, and I very much agree with your point because you were in the bookstore recently, I believe, right?
Yep.
Why on this earth do they not have a coach's corner or an area where you can buy the stuff that Freeman wears on the sidelines?
It literally makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. It's the most basic marketing thing ever. If you're coming out with all this cool stuff, you got to make it available to the public. It just makes no sense. Also, Under Armour had a great opportunity to do an awesome promotional announcement that they were extending this deal with Notre Dame, and they did next to nothing on Twitter, and it's just another missed opportunity. So whoever's running their stuff, I don't know what's going on, but I disagree with how they're doing it.
You know as well as I do how well Freeman's sideline attire would sell in the bookstore.
Everything that he has is awesome, and it's just, we just can't get it. If it looks like I'm looking to the side, you guys, I pulled up the stream on another screen that I have just to test it. And I could see the chats now, but I can't see them on the main one I'm working from. So I don't know what's going on, but at least it's kind of working. It's annoying me, though.
Yeah. Like you said on one of your shows, I think in this past week, Marketing 101.
It makes no sense. It's like, I wonder why they're failing as a company. They don't even promote the good stuff they have to promote. Like, I don't know how to help you. They don't even promote the good stuff they do have to promote. So you're not exactly helping your own brand grow when you're doing that. Freeman wears the best stuff and nobody can even buy it. So it's just a little frustrating. I'm sorry.
And to where, I mean, you're a lot smaller potatoes with Always Irish, but you have the idea of letting somebody put the flag out there when college game day's here. That's impressive.
Oh, I'm doing that. I already got somebody lined up. I'm getting that flag on game day. I'm going to use ESPN for all the bad that they provide. I am going to use them to my benefit and find a way to get somebody there and get that Always Irish flag live on game day. It's the best free promotional tool I could ever get. So if I find a way where I could use ESPN to my benefit, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. I have 2 Always Irish bumper stickers on my car.
There you go, man. You don't drive through Michigan. You're going to have people running you up from behind, trying to drive you off the road. You know?
Yeah. You're still doing your big tailgate for the second home game?
Oh yeah, Central Michigan. We're going to do a good tailgate. And it's going to be fun, man. We're going to have a lot of people. It should be a heck of a day. So the momentum's building, and we're all just going to be excited to be together and be there, and also to have a tailgate, and it's not negative 80 degrees like the last one we did for Blue and Gold.
Oh, we had all kinds of weather, like you said, on winter, spring, summer, and fall. That day we had it all.
Yeah, we got it all, man. It was wild. Anything else, Pete? Thanks for checking in on a Saturday night, man.
Well, let's 3 more weeks, John, and we're ready to start the season.
Man, I'm telling you what, I am very ready for this. We've been waiting a long time, and we're going to start to get the answers to the questions we've been asking. And a lot of people are going to be right about a lot of things, and a lot of people are going to be wrong about a lot of things. And I'm excited to see it. So it'll be great, Pete. I'll be in touch with you about later on next weekend, man. Have a good Saturday night.
Thanks. Keep up the great work, and go Irish, John.
There you go. Go Irish. The season's coming up. I can't wait. 574. Give me some more. Hello.
That's right, Johnny. We're back.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I don't even know if I want to ask.
Yeah, you know who it is, Johnny.
What?
It should be your side gig, side man on your show for every Saturday night.
All right.
Brown guys in the building.
I would like to ask, what have you been up to this evening? I think I know the answer. I'm scared to ask.
Whoa, I just seen you roll your eyes, John. Come on now. You know what we're doing. We're throwing darts.
Yeah.
Watching your show.
Appreciate
Having
that.
a good old time, John. Let's do this.
I appreciate it. Tell me, are we over worrying about Navy, or are these legitimate concerns in your opinion, sir?
John, who gives a crap about frickin' Navy? Those little frickin'.
Well, wait. Nobody. Hey, wait.
John.
Nobody has to give a crap about them, but that doesn't mean I want to lose to them either. Like they're not mutually
Guess
exclusive.
We're in Ireland. We'll be doing Irish jigs all in that end zone, just like we were back when we started that national championship run. It's going to happen. Don't you worry, John.
I hope so.
Let
But
your
the
mind be
problem
at ease
is,
with that game.
but wait, the problem is people also said, don't worry about Marshall. Don't worry about Stanford. Don't worry about I'm just saying, like when you did what we did last year, is it irresponsible not to worry about this game when we proved we could lose to anybody?
John, you're really just trying to make me depressed right now, bringing those games up, aren't you?
Oh, I just want to be realistic. I just want to
bringing them up.
I just want to be realistic. Should we be more worried about it than some people are? I don't know. I think the spread was like, what, 20 and a half in Notre Dame's favor already or something?
It's a first-year head coach for Navy. If they try to switch to a passing attack, they aren't going to have wide receivers. They aren't going to have a quarterback that's going to be accurate. We're going to be just fine.
There you go.
I'm
I
not
do
worried
like
about
that.
this
But
guy.
see, I think that's I think the new head coach thing is a part of the reason some people are concerned, because they're going, he's not Coach Ken. You don't have all that knowing what he wants to do. Maybe this guy has Notre Dame thinking they're going to get a certain type of Navy, and then he's going to show up and mix it all up. I don't know.
If they lose to Navy in Ireland, John, you might as well take the whole football program, ball that thing up in a fucking ball and throw it in the trash.
Oh, you had to do that, didn't you? I was going to say to you, can you not use the F word, but you had to go ahead and do it. This used to be a family show. Oh, boy. That's what I get for not bringing it up. I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Oh, man.
Well,
hey.
Johnny, sometimes it happens. Freeman let one out today. And it pumped you up. It pumps everybody up.
Yeah. You know what, though? Freeman doesn't lose his revenue and income if he drops the F-bomb. If you do it too much on YouTube, they'll demonetize you. We're in slightly different positions.
That's only if you do it in the first. It's only if you do it in the first 10 minutes, John.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I know. It is weird how they have those rules where, like, you could say certain things, but only after a certain amount of time. And you could only say it how many times in this window. It's weird. YouTube's a weird place, man. Hey, what do you make of all this conference stuff?
I'm in the social media space, John. We're good.
What do you make? Good. That's good to know. I'll let you know that if I need to help with it. What do you make all these conference changes? Do you hate to see it? Does it not matter to you because we're independent? What do you think of all this and its impact on Notre Dame moving forward?
No, I absolutely hate it because college football reigns supreme over the NFL prima donnas all day, every day. Like, I could give a crap about the NFL.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I feel the same way. It just doesn't have the same feel or excitement to me. It seems too corporate. Like, it doesn't have the same feel.
No, it doesn't. So that's why Saturdays, I'm parked in front of the TV. I'll watch Notre Dame win, and then I'm watching whatever else is on. I usually flip to find a good game.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, you know what makes me mad about that? I like that Pac-12 game at about 1:30 in the morning, my time. We're not going to get that anymore, are we? Aren't those late night games going to be gone now without a Pac-12?
No, we're still going to get them. That's the part. That's where the Pac-12 is gone, because all their games are what, 11, 1 a.m. on the East Coast.
Yep.
Like, no one's watching that. Nobody. So now the Big Ten, you're kind of screwed. All these guys that are on the East Coast traveling the West Coast playing those late games like that, they're going to get sick of it, and I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, it's wild, man. There's no geography means nothing anymore. A lot of those traditional rivalries are going to die. I don't know if it's good or bad for the sport ultimately, but I do know this. We're all still going to watch. And when the 12-team playoff comes, we're going to watch even more. So, like, we can all complain all we want, but we're all going to watch all these games, and we're not going to miss them.
Here's a good point for you, though, John. With this conference realignment, look what happened to Nebraska after they picked the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They're dead. Like, that is one dead program after they picked the Big Ten over being in the Big 12.
I'm telling you what, you know who the luckiest group of people in all this is? It's probably Rutgers, that they ended up in the Big Ten somehow, and now they got that TV, and they're Rutgers, and they can just sit there as Rutgers and not have to worry about any of this. It's unbelievable. Like, the
most dog crap.
Dude, I mean it. When I really look at this,
crap program.
Rutgers is in like the best position because they somehow got into the Big Ten and have all those benefits, and they don't have to sweat all this out. Like, they do not deserve that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That team is absolute dog crap. There's no reviving that thing.
Yeah. All right.
And then everyone's saying that Matt Rule is going to revive Nebraska. It's not happening. That program is done.
Well, the other thing is, if you're a middle of the rung Big Ten team, I think your path to ever winning anything gets a lot harder when USC's in the mix, and then Oregon's in the mix, and Washington's in the mix. Like, it's going to be harder forever for those middle tier Big Ten teams to ascend now, is it not?
I mean, let's be real. Half the Big Ten is absolute dog crap anyway.
Yeah, I know, but they don't want you to hear that. They want you to believe that every week is just this amazing brand of football and all the teams have a bunch of talent. It's a joke.
It's an absolute joke. You got Penn State that up and down, they're somewhat good. You got Michigan, who's recently been good, and Ohio State. Other than that,
yeah,
the rest of that conference is just trash.
Yeah, well,
it's
you had a couple.
Trash.
You had like a couple years where like Wisconsin had it really going on, and then like Michigan State had that little run there. Towards the end with D'Antonio, they had that, but like those aren't sustainable runs. And here's the thing with Penn State that bugs me. Penn State reminds me a lot of Brian Kelly Notre Dame teams, and what I mean by that is pretty good talent, but not elite. And they win most of the games they should win. But whenever they get up against the big boys in a big game that changes the national landscape, and I need Penn State to knock off Ohio State or Michigan, they don't even come close. They seriously remind me of Notre Dame Brian Kelly teams. Pretty good, but not getting over the hump. That's where they've been at for me for years.
As long as you don't have to travel to their stadium and go into their showers, you're all right.
Oh, geez. Come on. Come on, man. You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that. God, I can't believe that was like 10 years ago. Wasn't that I can't believe that was that long ago that they had all that happen. Let me ask you this.
Well, it just had all that happen at Michigan.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Did you see that video today of Freeman getting all worked up at practice and yelling at the guys and MF this and F that and all that? I got fired up by it. I like seeing it.
That's why I threw the F-bomb at the beginning of my call just for you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Let's just take us right in.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate it. And I'm going to bring this up too. And you could agree, you could disagree, and the people can agree or disagree. I look at what I've seen from camp so far. Notre Dame looks faster overall and more physical overall this year than I remember them being in a lot of recent camps. However, I am willing to say if you go out and play half-assed against Navy, none of it matters and it was all worthless. So it doesn't matter what my impression is now. They got to go perform or it doesn't matter. I am just looking at it and there seems to be a lot of intensity, a lot of physicality, and it seems like a faster team overall to me. Do you agree, or is that just me wanting it to be good?
Oh, I completely agree. But here's what I want to, because you and I had a little thing on a late Saturday night when we were talking about Angeli. Everyone's saying how much of a player he's looking like right now in camp too.
Well, that's a beautiful thing.
For backup, right? And I think for backup quarterback, I think we're going to be just fine too. I still think we go in the portal next year.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, that's going to be really, really interesting to see how that works out. And so they're going to have to appropriately gauge the development of Angeli and see where Minchie's at, and then figure out how they want to handle Carr, if they want that to be a red shirt and build him up, or what they want to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you have to redshirt him. I mean, when they played Jimmy Clausen, I think that was a mistake. They should have redshirted that guy for 1 year.
Man, they threw him to the wolves.
I think you're going to hurt his development.
I felt so bad.
I think you're going to hurt his development if you just throw him in there.
Oh, man, I felt bad for Clausen. They put him out there, and they had no offensive line, and he just got killed. It was just such a rough way to bring a quarterback in. He had no chance to succeed early on. It was so bad. I felt bad for the guy.
You just got a super chat, John. I'll read it out for you. Adam Dowling says that.
I appreciate that. Hey, I'm getting super chats that I can't even acknowledge. Read it out. What did he say?
He just said Tim Anderson just got knocked the F out, John.
Man, I'm
the best co-host you could have on this show.
I'm telling you.
Pat who?
Pat's in Myrtle Beach, and he said he was golfing and drinking all day. So I don't know if we're gonna get a call from Pat. He's on vacation mode, so I don't know how that's gonna go.
I was too. And I tell you what, John, driving through Chicago is absolutely terrible. I don't know how you people do it.
It's
Chicago,
not
driving
fun.
through there sucks.
It is not fun.
It sucks.
And you know what else I'm going to tell you too, man? Like, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. Like, it's always been bad, but like rush hour is now like all day. There's not like a morning rush hour wave and then it lightens up. Like, I used to pick times to drive to avoid the rush hours and the days. It's just all bad all the time now, man. And a lot of those areas you don't even feel safe, wanting to be sitting in traffic. Like, it's just a bad dynamic. I avoid the old downtown structure system as much as I can.
Yeah, I had to at least throw that in there that driving through Chicago is absolutely terrible.
It's bad, man. It's just, there's no easy way to get anywhere anymore. Like, it's just all a nightmare. And then you got all the construction. Like, it's either winter you're dealing with or construction. There's no easy way, man. There's no easy way at all.
All right, John, I need to know, what's your prediction for the season? What are we doing?
If I had to give my most
11-1.
my most likely outcome, I've been saying probably 10-2 with leeway up 1 or down 1, depending on circumstances. Could be injury, could be a little good or bad luck, could be, whatever. I'll go baseline 10-2 with a flex up 1 or up down, depending on how things fall. But I got to see a lot of things before I believe them with this team. And I've seen enough Notre Dame football to know you got to see it before you can believe it. So we're going to find out in a few weeks.
Andy Nation just sent out a $1.99 super chat that says, Army seems to shut Navy down every time.
It's because they got that disciplined Army mentality. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what they're supposed to. They're supposed to freaking want to bash each other's heads in.
Right.
Jesus.
Right. Yeah, they got that. Let's see. All right. I pulled up this other screen. So I can't pull up the chats, but I can at least see them now. Thank you, ND8 Sean. Appreciate that. Oh, man. Oh, there's a question. Which freshman linebacker will play the most? Do you have an answer to that?
I don't think we're going to have much of those guys playing. I think Drake Bowen will get a couple snaps, but I think they're going to be pretty set at their 4-man rotation and not really veer too much off of it.
Yeah,
barring injuries, of course. But.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of guys in the mix there that are going to want time, and it's just going to be really, really interesting to see. And I don't know, man. I am just sick of wondering and asking these questions. And what's it going to look like? And how's Hartman going to run this offense and make it all open up? Like, I am just sick of these questions, and I need some damn answers, bro.
I think you should feel worse about next year, about how it's going to look, because Hartman this year, that's going to be a treat because he's going to make our offense look 100 times better than what it probably really is talent level wise.
Yeah.
Next year when we lose Hartman, we're not going to have we won't have Estime. That's the one where there's going to be a whole lot of questions left on that table.
Yep, I know. And I don't even want to. Man, you bring up a good point. I've been thinking that too. This better be an exciting, good year, because when you get into next year, there's a whole new subset of questions. And how is this going to go? And what's the composite of the team look like? And you got to revisit the whole quarterback thing again of what are we going to do and who's going to be the star. We got to redo all of that. Like, we better just have a good year this year and enjoy it, because there's going to be some familiar questions the next year.
Yes, we're going to be in for a little stretch where I think it's going to be I think we're going to have some nice calls when we do some after games next season, John. I think it'll be great.
It should be interesting. I'm hoping it takes off this year, man. Whether people are happy or upset, I hope people want to just sound off. It should be fun.
I completely agree, John.
And I got a feeling.
Let's ride.
Hey, I got a feeling a lot of people maybe are going to have a couple drinks and then call me up after the Notre Dame game. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to get, buddy.
Is it going to be me?
Probably going to be you. It's probably going to be you, but it isn't only going to be you. There's going to be a lot of people like that calling in. It's going to be interesting for sure.
When I'm at that Central Michigan game, I hope you know that I'm coming up to you with the bottle apple crown.
I'll take a sip off that. Go ahead and bring it. People have done that before. It's really funny. People I don't even know will just come up and then be like, hit this, take a pull. I'm like, I can't say no to that. So yeah, feel free, man. You're invited. We're going to have plenty to drink. There'd be no problem there.
Oh, I was going to invite myself, and I was just going to show up. I'll make sure it's a fresh bottle so you know there's no hokey business, and let you take the first pull.
Yeah, well, I wasn't even worried about you. I wasn't worried about you roofing me till you brought it up.
I'd be worried about somebody coming up and be like, hey, take a sip of this.
I know.
No way I'm doing it, John.
Yeah.
Some random guy. No.
I know. I appreciate that, man. I do. Anything else you want to cover tonight, my friend?
I don't think so, John. It's always a pleasure. And I just want to tell you, I really think that co-host seat needs to belong to me. Pat can be in the back. We can run the Pat McAfee show.
There you go.
Pat can be behind the glass.
You and Pat are going to have to figure out an arrangement here, how to make this work and divide up the roles here, my friend. You're going to have to fight that one out with Patrick.
We're going to arm wrestle when we're at the Central Michigan game.
There you go. But it will be fun to actually see you, and everybody's invited, and bring all your crew, whoever you want to bring, man. It'll be good. But have a good Saturday night. It was good touching base with you.
Hey, you too, John. Let's go.
Let's go. Have a good weekend, brother. Man, I'm telling you what, he upplayed how much he was drinking. It really wasn't that bad after all. 318, what's going on?
Nothing much. Hey, it's Greg again. I called earlier in the week. I just wanted to say, I just wanted to bring up a few things about conference realignment and everything.
Sure.
That seems to be the hot topic today.
Sure.
So I think a few key points that a lot of Notre Dame fans seem to miss on is the fact that Notre Dame, at least anytime soon, if Notre Dame is in a position where they are forced to join a conference, name me the legitimate reasons aside from geography that they would join the Big Ten, because the Big Ten has done quite a few things that go against Notre Dame's morals. First off, they made agreements with USC and UCLA that they would not introduce Oregon or Washington into the picture when it comes to the conference realignment anytime soon. And then what does the Big Ten immediately do a year later?
Yep.
They add Oregon and Washington. Also, I mean, just the rich history of the fact that for a long time, Notre Dame wanted to be in the Big Ten, and anti-Catholic sentiment kept them out.
Totally accurate. Yep.
Yeah. And the other big thing about it, and this is something that the Big Ten would not treat Notre Dame the way Notre Dame would view themselves in the conference realignment picture. If anything, they should watch what's going on with UCLA and USC right now, not only with this agreement, but with the fact that Notre Dame, the only conferences that they would probably be willing to accept themselves into are the ones that put more weight into Notre Dame's voice immediately. Whereas USC and UCLA, their voices are immediately they're immediately the lowest voices in the totem pole. Whereas if Notre Dame were to join the ACC or even the Big 12, their voice would be up there with the elites of those conferences. And that just simply wouldn't happen in the Big Ten. As much as the Big Ten wants Notre Dame, I feel like, first off, apparently Notre Dame is on the verge of announcing a new TV deal. That's apparently the thing that's in the Twitter sphere, rumors and all that other stuff. And
yeah, I believe that as well. Because I don't think Notre Dame would be able to, in good conscience, abstain from all of these conference discussions if they had worries about their TV deal. So the fact that they're not engaged at all and there's no articles and people saying, oh, what's Notre Dame going to do? And they're totally out of it. That tells me that deal's either already done and they haven't announced it, or they're sure it's going to be done and it's going to be money that they think is great. So I am expecting that to drop too, and I expect it to be good, primarily because of Pete Bavacqua. I don't think you bring that guy in there as the next AD if you're not sure he's going to land you a great deal with NBC. I expect that to come anytime. And then if Notre Dame has good apparel money, good TV money, and access to the playoff, there is no reason to join a conference then right now.
Exactly. And by the way, I just want to apologize. I rushed right in my topic. How are you doing today, John?
Oh, I'm doing perfectly fine, man. That's okay. Get right into it.
Yeah. But anyway, no. The big thing that like the casual fan doesn't seem to realize is Notre Dame is willing to take a smaller percentage less to remain independent. It's Notre Dame is always going to have a seat at the table whenever it comes to talking about college football playoffs. It's that simple. They always have a seat at the table whenever it comes to like restructuring big things in the NCAA. That's one of.
And you know what else? Wait.
One of the.
Now you're bringing up a really good point when you say Notre Dame may be willing to take a little less of a percentage or money to stay independent. Some people might ask, well, why would you why would you be willing to do that? What's happening right now is why, because then you are not beholden to all of this stuff falling around you and you're tangled in the web. And then you got to do things you don't really want to do because you're in that system. What is going on this week is exactly why Notre Dame may take a little less, but you still got to be in the ballpark to be competitive. You still got to be in the ballpark financially, but a little bit less to be able to have the autonomy that if all the stuff around you crumbles, it doesn't crumble you with it. That's a big thing. And we're all like seeing why this week independence could be a good thing because we're not sweating it out the way Stanford is. You know what I mean?
Call it smugness or pride, but Notre Dame does not want to be one of 16, 17, 18 voices. Notre Dame wants to be the voice. They've always been that way. And don't get me wrong, like I agreed with, I heard you earlier, you were talking about how Notre Dame's relevancy, and you were stating how, the only thing that makes us frustrated as fans is we can agree with an argument that Notre Dame hasn't been relevant in winning national titles since before I was born. And that's one thing as a Notre Dame fan that I pound my head against a wall over. But at the same time, what does ESPN talk about every offseason? They don't when Georgia was no good, they didn't devote episodes of time. And I'm not saying Georgia was no good in the sense of they were bad. When Georgia wasn't competing for national titles, the ESPN and all of those networks weren't devoting tons of media time to discuss the relevancy of Georgia. They're devoting time to discuss the relevancy of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, as long as they are an independent, they will always be relevant in the college football landscape. They're in the same plane as Bama, Ohio State, and all of the big time programs that have historically won in college football. Now, don't get me wrong, in terms of winning, a lot of those programs are well ahead in Notre Dame. You will never hear me make an argument at the point that Notre Dame is more relevant in winning because they just simply haven't won the big one in a long time. That being said, as long as Notre Dame remains independent, they keep that relevance for now. I think what eventually happens, and right now I'm kind of working on a little blog about it, is about how the NCAA really needs to either A, step up their game in terms of actually doing things to stop this, because what essentially has just happened is the Big Ten has robbed one of the Power 5 conferences blind to where they are going a Power 5 conference. We're not talking about the MAC. We're not talking about Conference USA. We're not talking about the AAC. We're talking about a Power 5 conference is now down to not even 5 football teams.
Yeah.
The NCAA, I'm not saying necessarily that the NCAA needs to step in and regulate it, but time after time again, every single move by the NCAA has been reactionary, and that has been it.
Yeah.
And I think as the NCAA adjusts its role or decides, or the college sports world in general has decided that they have had enough of it, I think that'll be the point where Notre Dame possibly needs to look in the mirror and say, if we are left out of the actual like big leagues in terms of college football, we might want to reconsider where we think independence is. But the only conference that would legitimately turn down the money that Notre Dame offers for teams to play Notre Dame, for them to play each other, if the Big Ten made a rule, you still have the SEC would be more than happy to play. Like SEC, the ACC, the Big 12 would be more than happy to. The only conference that would even consider in the immediate future bringing up a rule about not playing Notre Dame would be the Big Ten, because they're the ones who want Notre Dame the most. In my opinion, if you see conference realignment for Notre Dame and anytime soon, it's going to be to swoop in and save the ACC. That's it. That's the only thing I could see, because Notre Dame, there's, you know, fans want to say all the time, you know, that Notre Dame gains nothing from the ACC partnership, but Notre Dame gains a lot from the ACC partnership. And it's not just in football. It's in basketball. It's in lacrosse, obviously, by them winning the national championship there. And in all those sports, it advances recruiting, and it spreads Notre Dame's message throughout the, you know, throughout that coast of the country, throughout the Atlantic coast of the country. And, you know, that's the only way I could see Notre Dame joining a conference in the next 5 years. If the ACC basically states, like, we're going to give you everything, Notre Dame. Like, you're going to be our prized possession. We're going to do our best to keep Clemson. We're going to do our best to keep Florida State. And we want you. We believe you're our belle of the ball. And that's the only way I could see Notre Dame deciding to join a conference in the very near future.
Yeah, it's just, man, it's just wild. And it's just kind of frustrating how the primary driver of all this is the TV revenue deals. And it's just kind of sad to see, like, I realize it's the real world and it's money and you need it to compete. I get all that. But just on a personal level, it's hard to see all of what you grew up of college football meaning be kind of torn apart at the threads just over TV money. And there goes full conferences. And it's a little bit wild, man. But I think if Notre Dame gets their money right on this TV deal, and whatever this new playoff looks like, they have a reasonable path in, even if they have to pay a Notre Dame tax and not get a first round bye or whatever. If you do that, Notre Dame does not need a conference then. And plenty of teams are going to want to schedule them. I know people want everybody to boycott us. It fills up your stadium, and that's still going to appeal to everybody, all these athletic directors.
Exactly. And I'll say this as well. Like, this isn't like an original point of mine or anything like that. Like, this goes on, like, for me, like doing research and things like that. But the thing that drives me nuts about this is the conferences don't want to just up and say, this is about money. That's what really makes me angry.
Yeah. Well, but we all know it is. We all know it is.
Yeah.
And it's so disingenuous. You got these kids flying from LA to Rutgers for a volleyball game. It's like, what about schoolwork? You know, like it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's not about that, whatever they say. It's about the money, man. And everybody knows it. And nobody's listening to anything else. It's always been about the money, and it is now.
And it's a collateral damage of, you know, what's one thing in the fall to tell, you know, football players to travel all around the country on a weekend. You know, they travel on Friday after classes, or they have they've scheduled their entire fall semester around the fact that they're also playing football, and telling them to, hey, like, you know, every Friday, that's when Thursday or Friday is when we're going to travel, you know, from, you know, I guess in the Big Ten's case, when you tell a Michigan student to travel to USC, you know, it's one thing, but the sports like softball, baseball, basketball, you know, the ones where they play games in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
You know,
that's tough.
I saw a tweet from a Pac-12 softball player that basically stated, like, she wanted to go to, I can't remember which school it was. It was one of the schools that I believe it may have in fact been USC, but don't quote me on that. But basically, she chose USC to play softball because it was close to her family, and it would allow her family to see her softball games.
Yeah. Because
the Pac-12 was a regional conference, and now, like, how can you put that load on a family for a student that, you know, first off, her sports, you know, not necessarily subsidized. I'm not saying that softball makes no money, but odds are, like, it doesn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. And you and I both know this, though. You and I both know this. when they're doing all this, they're not worried about the women's softball or volleyball team traveling around. It's all about the two big revenue TV generating sports. And it's pretty much football, basketball. And then for a handful of schools, I'll even argue women's basketball, if they're really good, can move the needle a little bit to where there's a little, pull with that. But all those other non-revenue generating sports, they're along for the ride. And it's just, I don't know, man. But you want to know why Notre Dame values independence? Look no further than this week and all of the stress that a lot of these teams and fans and players and everybody else are going through. This is why you want to be independent this week.
Yes. And this is why you want to stick with, like, everyone, like, I have my opinions in terms of the quality of product that the ACC puts on the football field outside of Clemson. And now it appears that Florida State is starting to do the same thing.
Hey, did you see that report? Did you see that report that Florida State was going to like hedge funds or like independent bank investors to try and raise the buyout money to be able to leave the ACC? Did you see that they were seeing if there's any way they could like borrow money on the front end and then pay it back on the back, like to get all that money up front to get the hell out of there? Did you see those reports?
I have been seeing a lot of reports, and I think specifically Florida State, how they are trying to find a way out, and Clemson is trying to find a way out. Earlier, they were trying to do what do they call it, the Magnificent Seven or something like that, something really weird. But no, I think the as much as you want to garbage poo the ACC, friggin' as much as you want to degrade their product on the football field, what it allows Notre Dame to do is for their, I guess we'll call them Olympic sports. It allows them to stay in a mostly region, like in a not so far region from them. But conference realignment, it certainly isn't the last time we're going to hear about it. The funny thing I always hear is Paul Feinbaum. I see a clip on YouTube every time I look for new Notre Dame content. He talks about how Notre Dame would be a perfect fit for the SEC. And, that's a wild one to me.
That's a little bit that's like a weird culture fit because there's so many differing values with the educational levels, like outside of Vanderbilt. And like, that's a really, really interesting one to me. But wait, I want to go back to the ACC for one moment. How would you navigate that crappy TV deal they have? Because isn't that a part of the reason they all want to leave is because they're locked in that long-term deal and it's not going to pay out enough money to keep up with the SEC and the Big Ten deal payouts.
Exactly.
So that's an issue too, I don't know how you navigate that. Notre Dame's not going to want to join them under that crappy deal if they don't have to.
Well, the ACC would have to come up with a way to renegotiate that deal if they wanted to come to the table. If they wanted to come to Notre Dame's table and basically say, we want you as a full-time member, including football. The big thing that these teams, they want to paint themselves out to be, the ADs want to paint themselves out to be the victims here. Like, oh, we didn't realize that this deal was so crappy. Well, here's the problem. You're stating that you didn't know the deal was so crappy, but y'all voted and approved it. It's not like the ACC, they just blindly accepted the deal. These sort of things are discussed with ADs and presidents of these universities, and they get the thumbs up before they vote on it.
But isn't that the tricky part of this, though? At the time they made that deal, they probably thought, oh, man, we're sitting pretty. This is good money. But then you're locked in that deal, and then life changes. Everything inflates, and you made that deal when you made it, but now the numbers change, and you're locked in it. So that's really dangerous because they probably walked out of that meeting going,
dangerous. I do agree.
You know what I mean? They walked out of that meeting going, oh, look what we did. We got this amount of millions per team. This is great. Now they're realizing it isn't great, and they're locked in it for like 10 more years. It's a bad dynamic. It's just a bad deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, 100%. And it's a terrible deal. And I understand the thought process of we need to get back to the table and renegotiate. But at the same time, I grew up in the South. I grew up in SEC country. And I'll tell you this much: even in states like I'm originally from Louisiana, even in states like Alabama, Florida, North Carolina, all around the Atlantic coast, they're not with the exception of South Carolina turning on the TV to watch Clemson lose for the most part.
Yeah.
They're even states with a lot of ACC teams turn on the TV for SEC football. It's that simple.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Most of those schools. So I mean, the SEC. I think the ACC is comparing their money to the wrong conference. If anybody, they should probably compare their TV rights deals to possibly, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but I feel like them comparing it to the SEC is, it's apples to oranges.
All right, you and I might get that, but the leaders at Miami, Clemson, and Florida State don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the problem. Like it could make sense to us, but okay, dude, I got a spider on a web dropping down from the ceiling right in front of me. What the hell's going on here? Let me get this spider. Keep going. I'm going to try and catch this thing. Yes.
No, but I mean, I think the biggest thing that fans need to realize about realignment is the end game, in my opinion, is not I don't believe it's not the Super League that everyone's envisioning. I think it is to shake up the NCAA, because the NCAA has proven to either A, overstep their bounds, or B, been proven to be reactive to a lot of things, like creating the wild west with the NIL and pay for play.
Yeah.
Which has gotten to the point now where or members of Congress and Senate are talking about passing legislation to monitor NIL and register NIL. And I mean, it's at the end of the day, I think this is all in an effort to prove how defunct the NCAA is as a governing body. And I mean, in my opinion, the onus isn't on the conferences as much as it is on the NCAA. The NCAA needs to step up big time. And
now, I did hear, I think there's a couple of options here. One is all these teams and groups that are going to be involved with the new playoff can break off, tell the NCAA they're already not in charge of the playoff as it is, and say, we are going to create our own league, have our own governing board with the conference heads and Notre Dame's AD, and they're going to make the rules of whatever's going on. But then I read this earlier this week that the NCAA formed a committee to rein in NIL and put guidelines and have contracts in place that have to be known by everybody and all that. And by October, they want this board, this group, to present to the board what they are proposing to kind of if you're a booster, stuff like that, you have to be registered now and log it with the NCAA. Like, they want to start doing all this. It's going to be really interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, this is all connected, and I feel like people are not they're not seeing it. I think people are all, like, seeing the side storylines of, will Notre Dame join a conference? What's going on with Florida State and Clemson?
Yeah.
How's the Pac-12 going to survive? When in all actuality, this is down on the NCAA supremacy. And I kind of something needs to change, and the NCAA either needs to act or adjust to its role as no longer being the governing body for college athletics.
Yeah.
It's that simple. You can watch it in recruiting in general. These big time recruits, they'll flip because, the big time boosters are handing out endorsements with air quotes.
Yep.
And handing them, a Cadillac with $100,000 and telling them, hey, like, this is your NIL deal. SMU got a death penalty for that, even though NIL was not allowed back then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the NCAA needs to prove it's stepping up, because it feels like, their initial reaction to NIL once the California Supreme Court in the United States,
they backed off completely. It was unbelievable. Once the courts ruled, they said hands off. The court said it's okay, and they literally didn't do anything and said, let's just see how this goes, as if anybody with a brain in America couldn't see what it's turned into was the obvious thing it was going to turn into. They totally washed their hands of it. And it is exactly what I would expect them to do. They're not good at their jobs.
No, not at all. And the problem is they claim to be an organization that is about advancing the well-being. I'm paraphrasing heavily the mission statement here, but that heavily endorses essentially the well-being of all the members of the NCAA.
Yeah.
Proven
Sure.
over the past 40 years that they do not do that at all.
Yeah. And the other thing is, man, there's no consistency. That's one of my biggest issues with them is there is no consistency in anything they do. The way they govern, the way they discipline, there seems to be certain rules for some teams and others don't even get looked at. Some get a slap on the wrist, some get nailed. Like Notre Dame and Michigan both admitted minor things to the NCAA that fell through the cracks, and then they got punishments. But like North Carolina has fake degrees and nothing happened to them. Like it's the inconsistencies. There's just no consistent standard of governance, and I can't respect you operating that way.
No, it's like they suspend Jim Harbaugh for 4 games. Mind you, I hate Michigan.
Yeah, me too. But that was over a cheeseburger. That was over a couple burgers. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher out of nowhere recruits the number one class at Texas A&M.
Yeah, it wasn't out of nowhere. It wasn't out of nowhere. It was out of a bank account. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oil money, baby. Oil money's long.
Exactly. And the big headline that ESPN would put out there is like, oh, well, we all know these Texas A&M boosters, they're putting a lot of money into the program, when in all actuality, they're putting a lot of money into players' hands. You heard Bryce Young this week. He was talking about how when he was doing like some sort of food delivery service like DoorDash or something like that,
I saw that too.
$100,000 tip.
Yeah.
I
saw that too.
I'm not stating that he should be in trouble for that. I think Bryce Young is a great talent, and all the respect in the world to him. These players shouldn't be held accountable for it. But the schools and the people that know what's going on need to be held accountable for those kind of things.
Yeah, it's a rough dynamic, and you gotta clamp down on it somehow. And so they're gonna try. Yeah. And the new NCAA president, he said it's a big priority to him. We're gonna see, but the NCAA to me is largely they're just dead to me. I don't know, man, but
but going back to a little Notre Dame piece, because I've been reading in the chat a lot of people arguing over the Ohio State game, and it just felt the audacity of some Ohio State fans. Some people are talking about three touchdown wins and stuff like that.
Damn it! It really makes me wish I could see my own chat. Damn it! Like I'm all blocked up over here. What are they saying on my own show? I'd love to know.
Well, some people are saying Ohio State's going to blow Notre Dame out of the water, but how can? My main thing is explain to me how Ohio State is going to beat Notre Dame by 3 touchdowns when the game last year was a 2-touchdown win, and you lost the quarterback that won that game. You lost one of the wide receivers that was in that game.
Yeah.
Notre Dame got a better quarterback. And you could argue that a lot of the reasons why that game was that score was because
offense. Notre Dame's offense. Yep. And it's at home, and you have a 6th-year quarterback, and they're breaking in a new guy. Here's my opinion on that. If an Ohio State fan said, I think we should find a way to win that game, but it might be a tough battle in the South Bend, in the South Bend early fall or whatever, fine. But 3 touchdowns is a little bold. I could see being like, I think it could be a tough fight, but Ohio State will win because of their overall talent. But that's a little different than a 3-score blowout. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. I mean, my personal prediction, I think Notre Dame actually wins that game because don't get me wrong, Ryan Day has produced amazing quarterbacks. And as I said to you last time I was on the show, I think it's a certainty that Ryan Day just knows how to do it seems. But at the same token, this guy ain't no Justin Fields.
Yeah. Now listen, here's what I've been saying. Last year, all the dynamics were against Notre Dame. We were breaking in a new, younger quarterback without a lot of experience. It's on the road. You knew they were loaded and their quarterback was the dude that he was. Everything was against you. Now everything's flipped. If Notre Dame ever has a chance to upend Ohio State, it's going to be a night game at our place where we have the experienced quarterback and they don't. Those are about as favorable of conditions for Notre Dame to beat Ohio State, given their history of talent accumulation compared to ours. This is about the best setup Notre Dame can ask for. So if you're not going to do it now, when the hell are you?
Exactly. And like I was saying earlier, I have a hard time believing that Ryan Day is an excellent coach. I think he's a good coach, but what he has done is he has continued to ride the ship that Urban Meyer set up.
I'm telling you, he's got a Michigan problem. Forget Notre Dame. That guy's got a growing Michigan problem. In the way, you're not going to like this. He's got a growing Michigan problem in the way I can't have Marcus Freeman acquire a growing USC problem. If you're following me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He lost the last
100%.
two. He lost the last two to Michigan and maybe looking at 3 this year. I can't have my guy starting out 0-2 against USC. That ain't going to sit right. And it doesn't matter how much I love Freeman's personality and how genuine he is and how good he looks and all the Under Armour outfit. I can't have you in a losing streak against USC to start out in Notre Dame. That ain't going to fly.
Yeah, no, I mean, as much as the girls might be glued to Notre Dame football this year, I don't care about how good, Sam Hartman's beard looks or
you got to win these games. Looks. You got to win these games. I'll tell you what, though, buddy, we got a really good-looking head coach and quarterback combo, though. Man, if I'm Under Armour, I'm putting those two on every magazine cover and online and everywhere else. It's hard to find a better 1-2 head coach and quarterback looking. I mean, geez, these guys are got it together. Man,
I mean, he may not have great acting chops, Marcus Freeman. That being said, he's got if this whole coaching thing don't work out, he's got a career in modeling.
Yeah, no kidding. He does that for sure. I don't know, man. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for calling tonight. Anything you want to wrap up on?
I just want to say, the last time I was on, I said the ceiling was 12-0. A lot of people went crazy. They're like, "There's no way they could be 12-0." But the one point I want to say is every single one of the big 3, there is a chance to win that game. And it all amounts to every game they lost last season, with, I would argue, the exception of USC, was what I would argue is due to coaching. And not as much on the talent, but due to coaching, because you can't, maybe Ohio State, you can make the argument that they out-talented Notre Dame in the end, and that's what lasted them through. But like you said in one of your clips I saw, Marcus Freeman, I think, is showing his growth as a coach from going from wide lens, putting the horse blinders on, basically saying, I'm focusing one game at a time. All I give a damn about is Navy, is preparing these players for the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Week 0.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of looking ahead on Marcus's part last year. And I think there was a lot of looking ahead on a lot of the other coaches' part last year. And I think that's what led to a lot of the losses.
And you know what? That's a good, if Freeman could adjust that mentality, maybe that's a part of the toll you got to pay when you're learning your way as a first-time head coach in the spotlight somewhere at Notre Dame. And you got to learn how to get that lens right to get those guys going. It's a good point.
And I just want to say, Notre Dame beat Clemson and passed for under 200 yards last season. And they won because of coaching, special teams, and defense.
Yeah.
All right. Imagine if Sam Hartman elevates this offense the way
sky's the limit.
That everyone
sky's the limit then.
Thinks he can.
It is.
The sky's the limit. Yeah. And there's no reason why Notre Dame can't be in. I'm not saying win. Notre Dame can't be in every single tough game they play this season.
I believe,
which is why
they were in every game they played last year, and they were working with a backup midget quarterback. So I being in these games isn't even a question to me. It's you got to find a way to win some of these some of these. By some, I mean all of these big three. I don't know. Find a way. Hey, man, I really appreciate the call on a Saturday night. Thanks a lot.
No problem. You have a super chat right now from Patrick Cotter. He said that he's going to call.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I got bad news for everybody. I think this show's going to end. I'm totally frozen up and I can't get anything done. Everything's frozen on my screen. I am delayed like 7 minutes on the screen and it's freezing. All the timestamps are frozen. I can see no chats. I can interact with nothing. When I type on the screen, nothing happens. Everything's blocked up. So we went an hour and 45 minutes of me doing this the best I can. It's just too much. So I am going to end the show. Everything here is messed up and it's bugging me. I am not able to see who super chatted. I am not able to see any of the comments. I know people probably donated that wanted to call. Everything here is messed up. So we're going to call it a night. I am beyond frustrated and don't feel well on top of it. Tried to do what I could. Anybody who put in money to be in a chat and I'm not getting to you, next time I do one live, write it in. Just type in, John, you missed me last time, and I'll bring you up. I don't know what went wrong, but I am totally frozen up. So I hope you guys are seeing this and hearing this on YouTube, but my stuff's all messed up, and I don't know what it is. So I'm going to have to call it a night, and I really apologize. I wanted to go a lot longer, but something is really messed up. So sorry about that. Tried to go as long as I could, and then I will try and work on this and see what went wrong. But thanks for everybody for being here and sticking it out this long. I don't know what's going on, but my system's all messed up. I'm looking at myself in slow motion. Everything's choppy. I can't even type anything. Anyways, that's going to have to be it. I'm going to work on this and try and figure out what happened. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend. Behave yourselves.